All right. So as I was mentioning over here in the menu, you can click on quizzes, or another place you can go is right here. This icon will take you right to the quizzes. And then a third way to navigate is simply to work through by modules. So each one of these where it says week 1, that's going to take you to the week 1, chapter 1 module. Okay, so that's always a nice way to work through it, because it's going to start you at the beginning of the module and work you through step by step. That's the way I recommend working on this course. Some students always just keep their mobile app open to assignments, and they just kind of look at what's due and they just kind of do assignments. That is one way that you can do that. I think sometimes you miss things if you're not working through the module the way the instructor built the course. So just a suggestion there. So I think it is good to, in your mobile app, go to the home screen, which looks like this. This is the home page, and then work through the module. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to click on, so Carlos, 3 ways: quizzes here, or work through the module. So I'm going to go to the week 1 module. And now let me ask you, are you seeing the week 1 module, Introduction to Psychology?
Yes.
Okay, good. So it stayed with us this time. And what you'll see here is everything that is in the week 1 module that you are, some of it is there for you to read or to view, and some of it is there for you to complete as an assignment. So if you begin by clicking on the first link, it's going to give you an introduction to chapter 1 and an introduction to the module. So you read this little blurb, tells you about introducing psychology. It also gives you a heads up for, here are the objectives for this week in this module. Here are the things that you're supposed to learn. And then in order to learn those things, here are all of the activities you're going to do. You will read chapter 1 in the textbook. You're going to view what's called a crash course video. That's a series of videos we use in Psych 101. You're going to complete the assignment called Reflecting on Your Learning. You'll complete the chapter 1 quiz. You may complete the video application essay. And the reason I say you may is because it's due by the 3rd week. So you might complete it week 1 if you want to. You could complete it week 2, or you could complete it week 3. It's up to you, but it has to be submitted by week 3. And you attend week 1 classes. So that would be, you went to class on Monday, and now you're ready to click begin, or click next to begin. So you just come down here, and this navigates you through the module. So here's the crash course video. These give you more information about the topic, rather, and it supplements the textbook. So you read chapter 1, you watch this video. These are important to take note of. These are what are called the learning objectives from the textbook, all right, from chapter 1. Each bullet point is a learning objective. These blue, what is psychology, the history of psychology, contemporary psychology, and careers in psychology, those are chapter headings or subheadings in the textbook. Those are not learning objectives. The learning objectives are these bullet pointed items, like define psychology, or appreciate Freud's influence on psychology, or demonstrate familiarity with some of the major concepts or important figures in each of the described areas of psychology. Each bullet point is a learning objective covered in the textbook. And that's important when we go to the reflecting on your learning assignment. You're asked to choose 3 learning objectives that you're going to discuss. And so you need to come back to this page and choose one of these 3. There are 3 of these bullet pointed items. So hoping to make that clear to you. All right, I viewed the video. I've reviewed these bulleted learning objectives, and now I'm going to move on. In each module, the textbook is linked So in module 1, chapter 1 of the textbook is linked, and you'll see here that you can just read the textbook from here if you want to. Okay, and please note, I'm going to hide this for just a minute. That is not all of chapter 1. Okay, that's just the intro. You click next. Here's the first section. Next. The next section. Some of this might look familiar to you. We discussed it on Monday. It is heavy, heavy reading as far as there's a lot of reading. There's a lot of images. There are some interesting links. If you're interested in the topic, you can click on the links. A lot of times they take you to videos on YouTube or Vimeo, and you can watch and get some supplemental information. Okay. So just showing you, like, that's the chapter 1 reading, and that's the end. You see we're at the end here with the glossary of terms. Finished reading, I move on next. This is some more supplemental reading just for that textbook. Talks about careers in the field of psychology. All right, so here we have reflecting on your learning. Now this is a template, and what that means is you can download and print this out or download it onto your computer, and you can use this to guide your writing of the reflecting on your learning assignments, and you can reuse this every week. So you'll see the outline of this assignment up at the top. You just put the title, reflecting on your learning, chapter whatever. So this week it's chapter 1, and then you're going to number it from 1 to 5. This is formatting your assignment. And then you have a title, and the question reads, what is the most interesting thing you learned from watching the video tutorials? That was the crash course video. And why did you find that interesting? And so then you're going to write the response to that question. Type, I should say. Number 2, what is the most interesting thing you learned from this week's reading? So after you read the chapter 1 in the textbook, discuss what you found most interesting and why. And then here you're going to choose 3 of those bullet point learning objectives. And here it says, write out the complete learning objective. So don't just put learning objective. I want you to erase this and put in, like, define psychology, or list the notable people associated with the field of psychology. You're going to choose 3 of those bullet points, list the learning objective, and then I want you to explain what you found interesting about each of those learning objectives. 1, 2, 3. So let's take a look. This is just the template. Let's move on and look at the assignment. All right. Reflecting on your learning for chapter 1. So please read this in detail. I'm not going to do that to you now. In your paper, you're going to describe the following. So here are those 5 questions that you saw in the template. You're going to discuss the video, you're going to discuss the chapter reading, and then you're going to choose 3 learning objectives that you're going to write out. And then it says, write out a complete answer demonstrating your understanding of this learning objective. Okay, what you understand about that objective. The requirements for this assignment include number each response, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Use the bolded items as headings for each of those numbers, just like I did on the template. For numbers 3 through 5, write out the complete verbiage for the chosen learning objective. You can just copy and paste it if you want from Canvas. Each answer, number 1 through 5, should be a paragraph or 2 to fully address the prompt. Write in your own words. You may use a quote accompanied with quotation marks and an in-text citation to support your answer. This is so important. Don't just copy and paste. You cannot just copy and paste from the textbook or copy as you're listening to the video. Students who do that are going to get what is called a high matching score. When you submit your work through Canvas, you're going to see a little percentage sign that shows up after you submit. If you get a high matching score, you will get a 0 on that assignment. I will assign you a 0 because all it means is you copied and pasted from the textbook. All writing needs to be original. So write in your own words, okay? Really important. Here's a rubric. This shows you how I'm going to score. So if you do everything that's asked, you'll get a 2 for each question, which totals 10 points. So 10 out of 10, you get 100% for that assignment. So again, I encourage you to read through this thoroughly, look at the rubric carefully so you know how I'm grading, and use the template that came before to format and write out your assignment. Are there any questions on reflecting on your learning? You'll have one of these every week. And then on this page for you in the student view, let's see, I don't want to switch to student view because it'll probably kick me out. You'll have a button up here that says submit assignment. And when you click submit, it will allow you to submit from your device, whether it's your mobile device. If you wrote it on Google Docs, then you can submit from there. Or if it's on your computer and you've stored it in a file, you can browse computer and you'll just upload directly to Canvas. Okay, you're never like emailing me your assignment. Okay, everything has to be submitted here through Canvas. And then you can go back in and check and see that your assignment is there and that it has been submitted and you've got everything turned in on time. Questions on this first assignment? Okay, no questions in the text. So we move on. We're still in that first module. So Carlos, this is the quiz. Okay, so the quiz is to assess your mastery of those learning objectives for chapter 1. Chapter quizzes should be attempted after you can confidently address those learning objectives that we saw on the crash course video page. Each quiz consists of 20 questions. And as I mentioned in class on Monday, they come from a question pool. There could be 30, 40, 50 questions, and the quiz automatically pulls 20 of them out for you. So the quiz you take will be different than the quiz that another classmate takes. And if you end up retaking the quiz, it will look different than the quiz you took the first time, okay? It is a timed quiz. You have 30 minutes to complete each quiz. Once you begin the quiz, you must finish it. You can't pause it and, go eat dinner and then come back. A note about internet. You do not want to attempt a quiz when you have sketchy internet. So for example, if you're on the bus and driving around town, you do not, unless the bus has a router on it that's really good, you do not want to start your quiz and then, your device is dropped from internet, because then it'll just stop your quiz and upload the score at that point. So just make sure you're connected to consistent internet before you attempt the quiz. And then it does mention here that it's set for you to take twice. It'll keep the highest of your 2 attempts. Again, if you get 10 out of 10 the first time, you do not need to retake it again. So when you're ready, you just want to come here to quizzes and start quiz and go for it. Questions about quizzes? Okay, I'm going to click next. Now, this is the video application essay. Again, I've provided a template for you so you can see how to write up the assignment, and then following this is the actual assignment. This essay is to be written in APA format. If you were in high school, you probably used a lot of MLA format. And in this class, we're going to use APA format, which means it needs to be typed in Times New Roman 12-point font. So you'll probably have to go in and change that. Most computers I know mine defaults to Cambia 11-point font, I think. So anyway, you'll just want to select all Times New Roman 12-point font. 1-inch margins are pretty standard, and that's what you want. Double spacing. So you need to set that. Most default to single spacing. So you want double spacing. You're going to include headings, which are in my template right here. Those are the headings. Okay. So you have a heading up here, video application essay number 1. For number 1, the complete name of the video or podcast that you viewed. Number 2 is the video or podcast summary. And number 3 is the application to the textbook chapter. Those are your headings. And each item is numbered. Again, this is part of formatting. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Formatting, think of it as a way of making your essay more readable for others to follow. It organizes your writing, and formatting is in an agreed upon organizational style. So everyone who is in psychology, you'll see all essays and papers look the same. All right, they have the same font, the same size, the same heading style, the same spacing, the same margins. And so we've all agreed that we're all going to write our papers the same, and it makes reading and communicating and writing easier. That is the purpose of formatting. Okay. So again, you can download this onto your computer and use it week or month after month, because you're really doing one of these each month, 4 in total for the class. So here is the video application assignment. I'm going to scroll down just to show you, and then I'll go back and talk about it. What has been uploaded here are different videos and podcasts that relate to the course material. So here's a YouTube video. Here's a TED Talk, another TED Talk. It looks like this one is no longer available, so I'm going to have to go in and change this one, and I will do that. Here's another video about the brain. This is a podcast you can listen to about the brain. And so what you're going to do is you're going to choose one of these. You do not listen to all of them. You're going to pick one, and you're going to listen to it. Notice up above, it tells you which chapter this material relates to. So this has to do with scientific research. Chapter 2 in our textbook talks about scientific research. So you'll listen to this, and then you'll come back and do this activity. So the purpose of the video application is to connect what we learn in class to outside information and to see how the material applies to everyday life. So you choose one video or podcast below and title that on your essay. So that's number 1. You simply write the title of the video or podcast. Number 2, you're going to concisely summarize the video or podcast. So concisely means you don't want to, word for word tell the whole thing, because that would take pages, but you do want to summarize it that we understand that I understand that you viewed the video or listened to the podcast. So give enough detail and information. And then 3, discuss the connection, how the video applies to specific course content. So connect it to specific things in the textbook. You can cite information from the textbook. You can quote information from the textbook to show that you understand how what you viewed in the video connects to what you read in the textbook. And right here, it tells you that this has to be completed no later than September 12th. You're welcome to do it before then. Submit it anytime. It's open right now for you, but no later than September 12th. Okay. This gives you some of the specifics. Number each part of your response, 1, 2, 3. Make connections between the video and your textbook. Half the points of the assignment come from that application. So if all you do is summarize the video, you only get half points. So make sure you do that connection. This assignment does have a word count, so you must do between 400 and 500 words. If you do less than that, you won't get full credit. And if you do too much, like 5 pages, that's overkill. I'll probably just send you an email, just to not do quite as much. And again, it does have a rubric. So if I go all the way down here at the end, you'll see this rubric, and this shows you how it is graded. So over here, if you want 10 points, summarize it very clearly, 10 points, apply it to the course, the chapter in a meaningful way. And then you do get 5 points for having it written well at the college level, organize it clear, and use APA format. Questions about this assignment, the video application? We only do 4 of them. And so you do basically 1 in September, 1 in October, 1 in November, and 1 in December. So just check those due dates. Okay, coming down here. Let's see. When you complete the module, you get to the end, you're going to get this, yay, you did it page. It does review the learning objectives. This is what you should have learned. And it does review. You can kind of check these off mentally. Did you read the chapter, view the crash course video, turn in reflecting on your learning, the chapter quiz? Maybe you did the video application and you went to class. So you can kind of check, check, check. I did all of that, so I'm doing a good job in the course. When you click next, it's going to take you to module 2, chapter 2, and prepare you to get ready for the next week. Okay. One thing I want to point out, I don't know if I mentioned this on Monday. This course is set up so that all work is due by Sunday evening at 11:59 p.m. You can turn it in anytime before that. I have students who have already been turning in work. Having said that, I know that things come up for students. And so sometimes they have good intentions of turning it in and something happens. They get called into work or something happens, the family, they can't get to their work. All of these assignments will remain open 1 extra day. You can turn it in 1 day late. But please know you're going to lose 20% for turning it in late. So even if you did 100%, you're going to only get an 80%, which means you get a B. So that is available to you, but I would recommend getting it in by the due date. After that Monday, all assignments are closed and not available to you anymore. So it's really important to plan your schedule, plan your time, and complete your assignments before the assignments close. I do make an exception the first 3 weeks of class because so many students are new and they're figuring things out. So you may notice that a lot of our assignments stay open for the first couple of weeks. But I do recommend that you stick with this schedule and keep moving along. So don't procrastinate the first couple of weeks of assignments just because I leave them open. That's really more for students who are adding late or get confused and they don't really know what they're doing. I suggest get to work on chapter 1 and keep up with that pace of the class.
Professor.
Yes, questions?
Even though if the assignments will be unavailable, will they be open for us to view?
I think once they close, they are not open for you to view. Now, I could be wrong about that, but my experience has been once it closes, and I have them already set. I go in at the beginning of the semester and I put in the open date, the close date, the due date. I'm pretty sure they're not available for you to view. Is there a reason you would want to view it?
Because sometimes when my past classes, I use my viewed assignments to study.
Okay, so here's something that I do want to point out to you, and I appreciate that you would want to study. There is no midterm exam and no final exam for this class. So your grade is completely based on the work you do in this class, and the quizzes are really like your ongoing exam, if that makes sense. But having said that,
it's to check how you're going, right?
It is. It's to check and say, hey, I'm doing well in this class. I'm reading, I'm comprehending, and it's making sense. But if there is an assignment that you really feel like, for example, we do a final project in this class. If you want something open so you can go back and see it and use it for something, let me know and I can open. And I'm happy to do that.
Understood.
Yeah, but just so you know, you're not going to need to be studying and, you know, like a cumulative exam at the end where all 15 chapters come together and you have to know all that. You will not be doing that in this class. Okay. So I'm going to stop the share and just let me see if there are questions about any of those assignments. How about questions about the syllabus? If you've had time to take a look at it, see, you know, read through it and see if you have questions about that. All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
So you want us to do all our assignments on Microsoft Word, right?
You can use Google Docs. I do believe we now get Microsoft. We get the Microsoft suite. We have access to those as well. There are certain formats that do not open in Canvas. So sometimes students try to upload pages. And I'm not sure if that's like an iPhone thing, like they've typed it on their iPhone notes and then they try to take a picture and submit that. That doesn't work. So it has to be in some type of a document program. So
What
Yes.
Pages is an alternate version of Word in Mac.
okay, so for whatever reason, that does not translate into Canvas because I've tried to open them and then it says this format cannot open in Canvas. So just be sure to use, if you are, you know, working on a Mac, be sure to use Google Docs or be sure to use Word.
How I did it, I use Pages, but I changed my work when I finished a PDF. That's how it comes in.
Perfect. So if you're on a Mac, make sure you just save everything as a PDF. And in fact, that's just a really good practice to get into because it preserves your formatting and everything can read a PDF. So thank you, Joshua.
Yeah, to all Mac users, if you're working on Pages, once you're finished, just export it to a PDF and you're set to go.
Yeah. And the term is export, right? Because
Yeah.
I know people are looking for like save and I think you have to export as.
Not sure if it's going to be export or save as, but you just find the format to change it to a PDF and you'll be set.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'm a Mac user and I've been doing this for like the entire college semester.
I'm sure you have. Yeah, I just know whenever I see Pages, it says cannot open in Canvas. So change it to a PDF and you're set to go. Great. Any other questions? So that schedule that I gave you, oh, Tristan, I saw you unmute.
Yeah, just more of a format question. So for
Yeah.
headers, are we doing last name and then page number or just page number?
So in 101, we don't require a header. For those of you who may not know, a header is something that you have to insert a header. It runs across the top of every page. So if you've done them before in your course, feel free to do whatever you've normally done. For Psych 101, we just do those basics of APA formatting, which are the ones that I showed you, the font, the margins, the double spacing, and the font size. Okay. And then citations, which I can, we'll go over that in class because that's something I think everybody needs to see. But I think the biggest thing that students do that runs them into trouble is the copying and pasting. So they'll copy and paste something out of the textbook, even if they think they're going to copy and paste and then change it up a little bit. That's where we have software built into Canvas that checks for similarity. It checks your writing to see what it matches to. And when you copy and paste like that, it highlights and it hits everything that you've copied and pasted. It's so important. I can't tell you enough for you to write in your own words. What I recommend students do before you do any writing, read the material multiple times. So if you're going to write about the textbook or if you're reading an article and then writing a review, read it, read it, read it, read it, and then put it away and write it from your own memory. Do not copy and paste unless you're using a quote, and then you can copy and paste, and then you're going to put it in quotation marks and add a citation. Other than that, you should be writing completely in your own voice, your own words, typing word for word. Otherwise, you're going to get a very high similarity score, and I won't accept it. And I will let you, try it again the first couple times, but after that, I'm just going to kick it out. So just get in the habit of writing in your own words, and you're going to be fine. Other questions? Anything that's come up for you? Yes.
I have a question. For the video application essays, since it's open for the 3 weeks we have,
Yes.
we only submit once, right? On the week we decide to do it?
Exactly. So once you submit, you are finished, and it will put your submission into the grade book. So it just remains open for the 3 weeks, but once you submit, you're finished. So if you want to get it done this week, feel free. If you want to wait till week 2, you could do it then. And then September 12th, the first one is due. It'll stay open until September 13th, and then it will close.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. Any other questions about assignments in psychology? The final project is one that we're going to do closer towards the middle of the semester. So I'm not going to talk about that one right now. What we'll do for that is you're going to have 6 psychological disorders that you're going to get to choose one of. So you'll get to choose one of the 6, and you're going to write a research essay and watch a film that portrays that psychological disorder. So either schizophrenia or depression or anxiety or OCD, one of those. And you'll research it and write about it, and then watch a film that portrays it. And then we'll do some group discussions. But we're going to do that and talk about it a little later in the course. Okay. All right. If there are no other questions, that's all I have for you. I just wanted to go over those assignments in a little more detail. Feel free to reach out with questions as you start working on those assignments. Again, welcome to the class. I'm here to help you, but I know that as long as you're doing the reading, watching the videos, and completing the assignments, you're going to do excellent in the class. So have a great rest of your day. I'll hang out here for a few minutes to see if anybody has a question they'd prefer to ask, in a smaller group. Other than that, have a great day, and we'll see everybody on Monday.
Bye, Professor. Thank you.
Bye, you are so welcome. Take care. Have a great day.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi, John.
Hi, yeah, I wasn't here last time. I was wondering if there is a time where you will not answer if someone sends you an email through Canvas.
Did you say where I won't answer?
Yeah, well, you won't answer, like maybe till next day or something,
So what I try to do is if you use the course inbox, that's easier for me to respond because I kind of check that throughout the day. Technically, I say I will respond within 24 hours because I'm not like got my phone on my hip and I have it every second. But Sunday is usually a day that I kind of unplug. So if you try to catch me on a Sunday, I may or may not respond, but for sure within, the next 12 hours, you will get a response from me. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, that was it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but if I see that you've sent something a couple times, I'll probably figure out that it's kind of an emergency and I will try to respond to you.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You're very welcome. You as well. All right, anybody else? Okay, where in Canvas can I find the videos? All right, let me see, Adrienne, if I can pull this up again. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Hold on. I'm gonna stop recording.